My name is Katie White. I am the head of HR at Usborne Publishing, and it's been my job in the last couple of years that I've been working with Usborne to really help create an environment where all of our staff are able to enjoy working, have got all the tools that they need to do their job, and that we have the right people in-house to do the jobs that we need. What I'm going to do over the next hour and a half is host some of my colleagues to talk about their different departments, give you an overview of Usborne Publishing, and those individual members of staff which you'll hear from will also talk a little bit about their backgrounds, how they got into publishing, and actually what their job entails. What I'll do then is wrap at the end and talk a little bit about how you might think about getting into publishing, some of the routes to do that, and some top tips that we've learned along the way that might also help you get into that as a career.
Hi, that's me. I'm Alex Frith. I'm a managing editor at Usborne, and I work in the non-fiction department. And so my job is to be responsible for making, say, 10 or 12 books a year. And I didn't know this job existed until I saw an advert basically saying, would you like to write books for Usborne Publishing? And I knew the books from my childhood. And I was kind of astonished to see that it's something that you could do for a paid job. I assumed, as Nicholas said, that to be a writer, it meant you had to be at home on your own writing something and hope that some publisher would like your book and would pay you for it. But it turns out that you can do a job writing stuff. And essentially, I have the sort of senior people above me decide what books they want Usborne to make, and it kind of gets passed on to me. And when I go into kind of primary schools telling people about what my job is, I often say it's like doing homework, and it's like doing the best possible homework you could ever imagine doing. And if you've ever enjoyed doing a piece of homework, then being a non-fiction writer is kind of an amazing job. And it sounds like it might be quite tough, but the way it's set up, you get told exactly what they want you to do. And of course, there's a huge team of people to help do it. So as a managing editor, I do write some books on my own still, but mostly I kind of work with other editors and designers. And I'm going to say hello to Laura, who is one of those editors.
Hello.
Sorry, there we go.
Oh, sorry, you flipping still, Alex? Oh, there I am. Yeah, like Alex, I didn't really know that you could do this kind of job until I saw an advert for it, and then thought that was quite a cool thing to do. I am just a normal editor in that even though my job title is editor, I don't actually edit anyone. I would be edited by someone like Alex, who is actually editing me now on a flat book. I did English literature, but lots of people in my department have done all kinds of things. There's people who've done history, philosophy, languages, science. So there's not really like one route into this department. I did know I kind of wanted to do writing, but before this job, I didn't know you could have a salary for doing it. So I also did a lot of other stuff. I worked in a coffee shop. I was a TEFL teacher for quite a long time. Which incidentally did kind of help me get this job because we've started doing English language books for the TEFL market. So I'd say if you want to do writing, you should definitely be doing some kind of writing all the time, even if you're not getting paid for it, because a lot of writing does tend to be unpaid. So I did a lot of stuff for my university, newspapers, plays, for college, and yeah, some badly paid content writing for the web, which is when you write like kind of like descriptions of clothes. I did some blogs for Long Tall Sally. I'm not tall at all, so yeah. I don't know if Alex wants to talk a bit more specifically about our daily life as editors.
Sure. As our daily life as editors is that we will have, and as I say, I have about 10 or 12 books, and Laura might have 2 or 3 working on at once. And to some extent, you do have the thing that all writers have, where you have a blank page and you have to fill it with information. But we're in non-fiction, it's usually pretty clear what you want to do. So I might be working on a book about dinosaurs or about space or about maths. So you need to go away and kind of read up about those things. And in children's publishing, the point is not that we're experts in the subjects, but that we're kind of really interested in kind of everything. So as Laura says, like, we all have degrees because a degree is basically an excellent training ground for writing and having someone tell you when your writing isn't good enough, when you have to try again. But actually, what, like in nonfiction, what we like as editors is people who are just really curious about stuff and want to know things and get a kick out of explaining an idea to someone else. And my job before Usborne was I worked in the NHS in something called clinical governance. And basically what I had to do every day was explain to doctors and nurses and healthcare visitors what government legislation meant, so they would understand how to do boring bits of their job properly. So I kind of had a lot of practice at writing and talking about kind of boring ideas and making them vaguely interesting so that people would care. And that turned out to be kind of useful for writing books about maths and physics. But yeah, it's collaboration. I can't imagine you'll ever go to a thing about a job and they won't say that teamwork is important. But we're all writing a book that we want everyone to like. And the best way to do that is to kind of show it to other people and say, what do you think? What do you think? And get ideas from the designers and illustrators and other editors. Laura, what do you want to say about teamwork?
I think that's probably the funnest part of this job, is that so I get to bring, I don't know, whatever my background is to writing, and I've done, when I get given a book title, I'll know, what it's about, and what the format is, whether it's a flat book. Then I have to go away and research the subject and come up with a book plan. But then I'll get to talk to a designer about how to sort of make that book become more than words and become pictures and words that work together. I also get to do pop-up books, which obviously I'm not making the pop-up, but I work with a paper engineer who just is doing really amazing things with papers, making space things pop out of books and birds and butterflies. So for that book, I'm hardly doing any writing at all. I'm just doing a lot of research, finding a lot of pictures that the paper engineer and then eventually the illustrator can use. Often I spend a lot of time on the internet finding references for designers and illustrators to use. A lot of time on image libraries. I have to do the majority of my research on the internet now, obviously, because we're working from home and I don't have an enormous library here. Then they'll be going back and forth with my editor, what do they think about my ideas? What do they think about the designer's ideas? Then there'll be someone above the designer who is putting their input in, who you will hear from later. So there's a lot of collaboration, and there's a lot of listening to what other people think about your work. It might not always be good. Sometimes it is good, and that's great.
I just want to say a thing before our time is up. It might go without saying, but if someone should say it, it really helps in publishing if you like books a lot, and hopefully, you read anyway. And I don't really read other children's books for fun. Even reading to my own children can get a bit tedious. But I like reading all kinds of books. And one of the sort of fun things that we do is kind of see what are other publishers doing and how can we make sure that our books are kind of staying stylish and different, and what kind of ideas can we borrow and improve on. But yeah, we are kind of surrounded by books all the time, and I like that. And it's nice to be able to be in a job where you're sort of surrounded by a thing that you're making that you like yourself. And I'm very lucky and grateful for that.